Hey guys, it's Michelle, and today's video is going to be yet another very highly requested conspiracy theory video for you guys, and it is going to be all about Princess Diana and the different conspiracy theories that surround her death. So this is another person that you guys have really wanted me to do for quite some time, so let's get into it. So Princess Diana was most popularly known for being the first wife of Prince Charles, and they got married in July of 1981. Princess Diana and Prince Charles had two sons named Prince William and Prince Harry. I'm sure you've heard of them. They're all part of the royal family. Princess Diana and Prince Charles had a pretty rough marriage that ended in divorce. They got divorced on the 28th of August 1996. However, their marriage was really bad. There was a lot of problems, and sadly for them, it was all made very public. Prince Charles was accused of adultery, and there was just a lot of problems that went on in their marriage in general. Their marriage was basically a target for pretty much any tabloid during the time. It was all over the news everywhere. Sadly, just 1 year after their divorce, on the 31st of August 1997, Princess Diana died in a car crash in Paris. While a car crash seems like it's a pretty non-suspicious way to die, there are tons and tons of like weird things about this particular crash and about the last months and like year of Princess Diana's life that just don't add up at all. Naturally, with a lot of weird things surrounding a celebrity death, there are going to be conspiracies, and there are quite a few, and we are going to go over the most popular three, and I find them pretty interesting. And the first one is pretty self-explanatory. However, this is like what most people believe, even though this is probably not even the case, but a lot of people believe the paparazzi did kill Princess Diana in a sense of distracting the driver. So Diana was always a huge target for paparazzi. Everyone was following her everywhere, and at the time of the car crash, the paparazzi were apparently chasing the car, and the driver, Henry Paul, which it might not be pronounced Henry Paul, I don't know, because it's like, I think it's a French name, so it might be like Henri, like Paul? I don't know. I'm not French, sorry. I'm just gonna call him Henry Paul, and he was apparently speeding very quickly away from the paparazzi, and a lot of people blamed this on the crash. If you kind of look into the crash, that doesn't really add up, but seriously, a lot of people believe that this is the sole reason for the crash in general, so I don't know, it's pretty weird. But the next conspiracy theory is like where it actually gets into a conspiracy theory. This is the main one, I would say, and it is people believe that the royal family killed the Princess Diana. This conspiracy theory is pretty interesting, and honestly, I don't know, it kind of adds up in my opinion. I'm not accusing the royal family of anyone doing this, or just like the British government in general. They think could have had something to do with Princess Diana's death. I do say that the death and the car crash itself there are very suspicious parts of it, so let's get into it. At the time of Princess Diana's death, she was in a relationship with Dodi Al-Fayed, who is the son of an Egyptian billionaire. And this relationship was sadly looked down upon just because he was a Muslim man, and people thought that it was just like wrong at the time. I don't know, it was kind of it wasn't even that long ago, it was like 20 years ago, but I don't know. A lot of people thought that that was like wrong, or just like something that they wouldn't want for the royal family, which is kind of bullshit. That's kind of what the public thought of the relationship. So now we're going to go into the reasoning that people think the car crash was a setup or was just weird in general, and the different things that happened. So basically how the car crash happened is the car went through a tunnel, and apparently there was a huge flash of bright light. It was brighter than a camera flash, so a pretty big flash that might have potentially distracted the driver into crashing into the wall. Something that was rather suspicious by the like general public is that Princess Diana was not wearing a seatbelt at the time of the crash, even though she seemed to be like an advocate like seatbelt wearer. Like she like wore them pretty frequently, like almost in like every picture that you'll see of Princess Diana in a car, she's wearing a seatbelt. So I don't know, people think that's really weird. I feel like that is weird, but like it wouldn't be like the sole reason, you know what I mean? That's just kind of a throw-in little detail. The driver was accused of being drunk. However, his family really believed that he was not. They were like, he wouldn't do that, and they're really persistent in believing that he was not drunk. Also, I feel like a driver, especially for like the princess, I don't know, it's kind of weird to think that he would be intoxicated. Another really weird thing is that Princess Diana was not removed from the tunnel for 81 minutes. It took the ambulance over an hour to get to Princess Diana, and I don't know, I feel like ambulances don't even take that long for regular people, so like for a princess, you would think that the fucking ambulance would be there in seconds. Like that would be like a top priority. It doesn't make any sense why the ambulance wasn't there quicker. And according to a lot of medical experts, they believe that if Princess Diana got to the hospital sooner, she could have very well lived. Another very strange detail is a few hours after the crash, the tunnel was completely cleaned and reopened to the public like nothing ever happened. This is really weird because you'd think that they would really investigate this kind of thing because, like I said, she is a high profile person. She's literally the princess. So you'd think that they would investigate and try to figure out like what happened and everything that happened, but there was barely any like time for a proper investigation because the crime scene was taken away and cleaned up so fast. According to Princess Diana's bodyguard, who was the only survivor after the crash, he heard that Princess Diana was like yelling for Dodi after the car crash, so it's kind of weird that she was pretty like in the moment, like she was very present. She like was pretty conscious. She knew what was happening apparently, because I mean if you're calling out for like the other person in the crash, like that's pretty weird. So like why were you so conscious if you like had so many injuries? People believe that on the way from the tunnel to the hospital that the doctors that were in the vehicle caused more issues to her body in order to kill her, which is really creepy to think about. Perhaps the weirdest information about this and the weirdest thing that like just really doesn't add up is that Princess Diana's body was embalmed so shortly after her death that it was technically illegal. And here is where the royal family comes in and why so desperately they would want Princess Diana to be dead. So it was heavily speculated, even by Dodi's father, that Princess Diana was pregnant with Dodi's child. The thought of the royal family having a princess who married a Muslim man and had his child was considered to be scandalous, so people believe that Diana was murdered to prevent the mother of the future king from having a Muslim child, which, once again, if it is true, it's fucking ridiculous, but we will continue. When Diana died, the doctor claimed that the reason for embalming Diana's body so soon was because of the French summer heat, and he was afraid that the body would deteriorate rather quickly because of the heat. The reason that people believe that she could have been pregnant even more so after this, even though they might have been trying to cover it up, is that an embalming of her body would cover up any evidence that she was pregnant. Probably because if we found out that she was pregnant in general, that would give us more reason to believe that the conspiracy was true. However, they didn't do too much of a good job covering it if that is true, because then they did something that's like really, I don't know, suspicious regarding her being pregnant, so who knows. That is a theory that the royal family had something to do with killing Princess Diana. I don't know. I would say that there are a lot of suspicious things that happened with her car accident in general, that it could be very well possible. So the last theory that we're going to talk about is that Princess Diana and Dodi faked their death. I like to believe this theory because it has a happy ending. They're still alive and just like being in love and probably having babies. Like, that's a cool theory. So this particular theory relies on the fact that Diana and Dodi were constantly in the public eye, and obviously their relationship was already looked down upon, unfortunately for them and for just people in general. Like, I feel like that's really fucked up. But their relationship was looked down upon, and I feel like they didn't want to deal with the scrutiny anymore, and they were getting very tired of the public eye. And also, apparently, they wanted the royal family to help them fake their death, because they were like, hey, you don't want to be a part of this. We don't want to be a part of this scrutiny and the shit that we're going through. Help us fake the death. And then you guys won't have to deal with all of the scandal that, quote-unquote scandal, that comes out of us having a baby together and us being married. The evidence behind this is apparently months leading up to her death, Diana wrote letters to two of her closest friends, her butler, Paul Burrell, and her solicitor, Lord Mitchum. In them, she clearly states that her and the royal family and her husband were planning her death and that it would be a car accident. So Paul went public with this letter and was basically just showing everybody, being like, look how fucked up this is, like, holy shit, like, this just happened, like, oh my god, like, freaking out, basically. While Lord Mitchum gave his letter over to the police chief, Lord Condon, who withheld the letter for many years, even though this is very illegal, obviously you're withholding evidence. And apparently, even after it was found out that he withheld this evidence, there was no interrogation and no action taken against this police chief, which is obviously suspicious, and this whole thing is really suspicious. I don't know, what do you guys think? I feel like if the letters are real, then obviously she did fake her death. And obviously the royal family would have the money and the energy and the time to pull that off. I don't know, it's kind of what I like to believe because it obviously has a more happy ending than people dying. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. If you guys like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Like I said, let me know in the comments not only what you think of these conspiracy theories about Princess Diana, but also what conspiracy theories you want to see from me and you want to see me make or whatever and do videos on. Let me know. But yeah, make sure you follow me on Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram because I'm always posting really dope shit on there. And subscribe for new videos every single day, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye!